This presentation aims at discussing about obsolete and emerging technology through the lens of McLuhan tetrad. And our choice was directed to the LCD projector, which is a very new technology that has more lumen and higher, brighter components. But in the course of the years, the promotion board has a little bit superseded. I'm here with Dr. Taylor. Dr. Taylor is an instructional liaison at King Middle School. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very good. And here we have we are conducting an interview about the technology innovation that King Middle School have here. First of all, introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, I've been here at King. This is my 7th year, and I pretty much work to help make sure that the instructional program is in place, and that not only is it in place, that standards-based education is taking place, that teachers know what to teach, how to teach, and students are able to learn what they expect, what those standards are, and to be able to master those standards.
Okay. When I came to this school, this is my first year, I was so impressed by the innovative technology that are in place. We talk about the promotion board, we talk about a lot of software in place. Can you name me one among three, most innovative technology that you have in place here?
Mm-hmm. One of the priority for the school, for me, since I pretty much work to make sure that we have resources to enhance instruction, was to make sure that King is at the point of becoming a 21st century school, meaning that we have technology available for teachers and for students. So one of the things that was a top priority was to make sure that we had a Promethean board in every room. We've been working to make that happen over the past 4 years, to make sure that every teacher has a Promethean board, and we are probably about 99.9% of the way there, because we have about 35 plus boards throughout the buildings, because we have a lot of classrooms. So one has been those Promethean boards. Secondly, the other thing that we adopted last year was to make sure that every teacher had a wireless slate. Those wireless slates are very important they're a very important resource, in that not only are they important for the teachers to use, but students can use them as well doing collaborative groups. You can put the students in a group, give them a slate, and from their seat, they can use the slate to project to the Promethean board. So they don't have to walk up to the Promethean board. They can write on the slate, and you can see it on the Promethean board. So we have the wireless slate in place. We have adopted so much technology. The other thing that we just recently, oh my goodness, there's so much software, STAR and accelerated reading, really good for the literacy part. The social studies department received a lot of software to help for electronic maps and things like that, to help with geography and teaching geography. So we have put that in place. In addition to that, we have, I'm just trying to think because it's so much. We invest when we look at...
To use it in a way that we can integrate language learning and instruction and differentiate even instruction.
And the students love those boards. The other thing we have, and I don't know if you've had a chance to look at those or use it, those document cameras.
Oh, document cameras.
The document cameras are very user-friendly, very good in that...
What is that for exactly?
The document camera replaces the overhead projector.
Oh, okay.
In the fact that you put your document up under the camera and it will project. You don't have to print it off on a transparency.
Oh.
So if you're, say you're a math teacher and you have a handout, you can, or even say you have a handout for French, and you put the handout up under the document camera, it will project. But you can write on your handout, say you're transferring something from French to English. So you write on there, here's your handout, here's the word in French. You want to write the word up here in English, and the document camera projects it. So you don't have to use a transparency.
Wow.
You know, you can just take your...
Is it that challenging to implement new technology in the school?
Of course it's very challenging. The challenge is that you can invest in technology, you can bring it in, provide training. It's still hard sometimes for teachers to go back and use that technology in the classroom because it does require more work. It's more than just that training. You can train one time, you have to come back and train again and again, but more than that, then after the training, teachers have to go back. They have to be committed to going back.
When they update the...
So the challenge is ongoing training and a buy-in for teachers or anyone else to use the technology to help with instruction. Created lessons that might not have included that technology, and it's just not your comfort zone. People move to the left or to the right based on their comfort zone. And so the challenge has been, even like now, the wireless slates, even though there's a wireless slate for every teacher. Have you had a wireless slate yet?
Not yet.
See, and I do know, you know, again, we have new people coming in, but if we should walk through the building to see how many people have those wireless slates and it's gone through the training. So the challenge is for people to increase their comfort level. Instructions, you just start using it. It's the same with technology. So.
What needs to be done to overcome that challenge? For example, I know that you have to use it, but besides that, sometimes it requires a lot of workshop. Or what example can you?
Well, again, you have your training. You have your ongoing training. Training is, you know, as often as possible. For the most part, most technology you purchase, you're not going to do a training once a month for that piece of technology, depending on what it is. But you have your training, and then you have to, I believe from the administrative end or the leadership end, is constant monitoring and following up to see if it's being used, if it's not being used, why, you know, why isn't it being used, and using that, because that's data, using that data to try to help increase the usage of that technology.
And I was very impressed because you emphasize over, you know, training, workshop, having myself experimented a lot of new technology with the workshop, and I really appreciate that. But let us shift a little bit our attention to the impact of that technology on, you know, student learning. You know that we are in Title I school and require a lot of, you know, innovative strategy to let them get, to get attention from them, you know, at least, and to differentiate instruction. So what is that, what do you foresee, or what do you see as impact on those students?
Well, one thing about our students are more adept to using technology than we are. To have it, oftentimes the students can show the teachers how to use something. Because they are oftentimes, you know, they have all their Wii Game Boys or all these different technology. So for the students, they're not intimidated by it. They will take it. They will be the ones to quickly play with it until they learn it. So we know that our students, not just the students that we have here, but students are they're technology friendly. So a way to help engage the students in the learning process is to make sure we have technology that we're staying current with them, and you know, using the iPods as a way to provide. That's another piece of technology we have here. Another tool to engage students in the learning process. So it's not a challenge for the students. The only challenge for the students is to have it available to put it there, and for teachers to feel comfortable enough to turn it over to the students and say, here, you know, do a project that you have this available. Try to use, you know, use this iPod and create a storyboard or something. So the challenge is meant for us as adults to put that technology in the hands of our students.
Exactly. Okay, how do you assess the result? Assess the result in terms of, okay, we have implemented this kind of technology, we have been getting this in CLCT score from this point to this point. Do you have any measurable variable?
The biggest measurable, biggest way to measure is when you walk in the classroom to do an observation to see that the students using the technology, the students, the teachers are using technology, that the students are totally engaged in the learning process because of that. Not necessarily the test score, but it's a clear observation of whether or not it's being done. And the other flip side of it is, if not an observation, students will tell you, we enjoyed doing this lesson because we used this. So it's getting constant feedback from the students, teachers, and then observations. Those are the measurable results you see.
You talk about the overhead projector that was used in lieu of what we call it, wireless document camera. How do you foresee that technology in 2 years, for example? Is it going to be obsolete, or
the overhead projector?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It won't be obsolete. It will still. There's still a use for it. There's always a use for everything. The only piece of technology that I can see now that's going to the point of being more obsolete are those VHS recorders. You know. Even though there's some things coming out, you know, but the VHS recorders are beginning to slowly not be, there's not a great need for it.
I can see that yourself is embedded in new technology. Sometimes they make a differentiation between, you know, the old generation who are with the, let's say, immigrant technological aware. But we are the older generation of, I mean, the younger are more native, but we are older generation. How do you combine, how do you see the difference between the native and the immigrant technology? I don't know what I get myself.
You asked me how do I see a difference between some of the age technology and the newer versions of technology?
Because you just mentioned that the new kids want the technology available, so they are already embedded in this kind of technological awareness. But the former generation sometimes have problem to integrate this technology.
Well, when you say former,
how do you personally combine both?
Well,
this is the need, this is what I should do.
I think with anything, it's a matter of introducing people to things. First, you have to have a true introduction to whatever new technology is. And then those people that are seeing it, whether it's to bridge that gap, have to see a need for it. Where does it fit into whatever I'm trying to do? How can this be useful to me? So upon leaving the orientation of it, the introduction of it, is to make sure you have outlined how can this piece of technology benefit this person, whether it's a student or a teacher or whoever. You have to have a need for it. You know, like a lot of people probably wasn't gung-ho about jumping on cell phones. They saw it as, you know, I don't need a cell phone, I have a house phone. But then later on, some people begin to see, well, it could help me if I'm out and my car breaks down. So the need was for safety. And it's the same way with technology, is to be able to identify the need. Introduce, you always want to introduce, identify a need, and then explore that need and explore the usage of that technology. And eventually, you know, again, a person's comfort level will increase, and they're more able to buy into wanting to use that technology.
Do you face any budget challenge?
Of course. Of course.
How do you, I mean, because I was so impressed when I came here. This is Title 1 school, but we have promotion board, we have this wireless slate, we have
a plan. You can't do everything at one time.
That means
you have to prioritize. You know what the plans are. So we started off, when we first started with the Promethean boys, we started out with all math teachers. Then we went from all math teachers because we know math is a part, you know, a high content area where students need a lot of engagement. And it was not necessarily our strongest area, looking at the data. And then we know from going from math, science again, another your data. You have to prioritize. create your plan and you work the plan.
Excellent. So how do you